All right, everybody, welcome to You're the Man Now, Dog. With me, Dan Lippert.
And me, Ryan Rosenberg. Now, typically, Dan, this is an improvised comedy podcast. What is it today?
Today, it's going to be a conversational check-in between two friends and comedy partners.
That's right. Yeah, you can call us both of those things, I think.
Yeah.
What did we call it? We came up with a funny little title, and I already forgot it. The Weekly Check-In. It's not funny at all.
The
But that's
weekly
what we
check-in?
say.
That's not funny.
No, but it was what we think we're doing.
Yes, we are doing a weekly check-in. We are recording comedy episodes with guests over Zoom, and sometimes we're just recording some two-person episodes, and sometimes maybe there'll be a dog in the episode.
That's right. You just heard Dan's dog chomping
What about a
around.
dog looking into the mirror?
Oh
Is
my
that art or
God.
what?
Talk about existentialism.
Stella.
And now her
I've had-
butt's looking at the mirror. Classic.
I would too if I had a butt like that.
Well, yeah, I'm glad we get to check in, Dan. It's nice to have a buddy to check in with, and I want to check in a little bit with our audience, our friendly patrons of You're the Man Now, Dog.
That's
We
right.
hope you're all doing well, and we're doing okay, and we're just kind of talking about it. This quarantine is a weird, somewhat scary time, depending on where you're situated and what your life is, and I don't know. Everything just feels weird and on pause to me.
Yeah, sometimes a day feels totally normal and I just kind of bounce through it. And then right when my head hits the pillow, I go, ah! What is happening?
Yes. That is very true. It's very true. I got nothing else to say about it. That was it.
I have found, it is what life is, where some days you're just alive and you're fine, and some days you're like, what the hell am I doing?
Right.
But now there's the added element of constant immediate fear.
Right. Yeah, you're not really going out in public much. You're not even doing like a big walk. You're not hitting the store very often. So
No,
there's really no chance you're picking it up.
I hope. Yeah, I hope. I don't think so. I mean, I'm getting deliveries every once in a while. I got Imperfect Produce, so my groceries are getting delivered. I'm doing the big clean on those.
Mhm.
So a part of it is like the fear of getting it myself, but part of it is just like the overall, like loved ones and just like the immediacy of stuff and everything
Right.
everyone's thinking about that is heavier.
Yeah, it's real existential dread for me of like,
Yeah.
are we all going to go? Are we all going to die from this? It's not even like specific. It's like that sort of broad and silly of just like it's overbearing.
Yeah. I mean, it does feel having no knowledge makes your brain go that way.
Right.
Like no idea of what the answer is.
Right. But luckily it's not a constant,
Yeah.
It's not a constant. How would you say, we have a few questions that we're going to ask for this episode, a few weekly topics for the weekly check-in. And
That's
Dan,
right.
the first one is, how's your overall well-being?
Overall well-being. So how are we scaling this? 1 to 100, 1 to 50, 1 to 3?
I don't know. What do you have? What do you feel?
Let's say 1 to 22.
Okay.
I
don't know how each number is valued, I guess, but yeah, I know 22.
Right. So maybe 1 to 10 is better.
Yeah, let's do 1 to 10. Everybody loves that scale.
Okay, great. So we're going
We've decided on a scale that we're doing awesome in the quarantine.
We've decided on a scale. You have to be able to solve the small problems in front of you to feel little achievements.
That's right.
Overall well-being. So I'm going to rate it since the last time we talked, you and I one-on-one on an episode. So it's been about a week. So in that 7 days, my average well-being is probably at about a 6.5.
Okay.
Maybe 7.5.
7.5. Yeah. I hope my okay didn't make you judge yourself up to a 7. If you're not feeling it, that's okay.
No. I'm just trying to think of the ups and downs and pros and cons. On the pros angle, I started doing some yoga, which immediately helped me like slow down, take some time away from my phone, and take care of my body for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And that felt good. On the cons, yesterday, my second day of yoga, I tweaked my neck.
Okay. Were you too jerky? What happened? What happened on the yoga tweak?
I was being a jerky boy.
Yeah, well.
Well, I have bad shoulders,
Hmm.
I can't even really lift them over my head without some sort of pain or without them popping out. This doesn't feel good here.
Right.
And so if I overexert them or if I do something wrong with them, I think something happens where I maybe pinch a nerve or something.
Right. It
So
probably
it
just
goes
makes
through like
everything
my
tense up and like,
yeah.
yeah, that makes sense for a
I
tweak.
use my muscles improperly because that's happening. So
Right.
that happened right at the end. And so I've been a little grumpy about that. I woke up pretty creaky. This does not feel good right now doing this.
That's no fun.
Um, so those are the main ups and downs.
Are you going to get back on the horse? Are you going to stretch it out and do some more yoga or walk?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take today off and then tomorrow I'll get back into the yoga. I've
Nice.
been doing that yoga with Adrienne on YouTube, which
Hmm.
we brought up before. She does like a 30-day yoga thing. So I
Hmm.
was on day 2. I will skip day 3 and then do day 3 tomorrow, I think.
Well, still
Uh,
give yourself a little stretch. Just lay on the ground for 5 or 10 minutes and don't forget to stretch.
that's good advice.
You know,
Stella, I don't
don't
know what to
push
tell you, Stella.
yourself, but don't. Stella, you're fine. I like the little tippy tappy. It almost sounds like the rain because it's so consistent.
Oh, yeah. Uh,
Well, that's
when,
nice. I think a 6.5 to a 7.5 is pretty serviceable in this time.
yeah, I mean,
It's pretty
anything
weird.
higher, there'd almost be something wrong with me.
I'll tell you what, bro. I'm a 10 right now. I'm getting time to myself. Nobody's bothering me. I do feel a little like that, but I would say my overall is probably pretty close. I'd say a 7.5, but I would say it vacillates down to a 5 and also up to a 9. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And the things that make me feel good are when I am exercising. Basically, I just go on like a walk. I could like walk uphill for 30 minutes and then back down the hill, and it's an hour, and it's great. And it sort of has that same sort of like you were saying with yoga, like just get away from your phone and do something else for a minute. That is really good for me to just like put my brain looking at trees or whatever, rather than thinking about
No
all the things
music,
I
no
could work on.
podcast. You're just thinking.
No, I do music. I usually do
Okay.
music. Podcast is like too cerebral. It makes me like listen too much. So I either put on songs that are like my faves that I've just heard a million times that I can just bop along to, or sort of like more instrumental, chill stuff so that I can just sort of be in nature and feels like therapeutic. I do like ideally an hour a day, and it's just a great way to get the blood moving and release some of those thoughts.
Yeah.
But I haven't been doing those because it's been raining, and this week has been a little worse because of it. But it was a good thing to notice of like, oh, when I just walk an hour a day, I feel pretty good, and when I don't, I definitely feel worse, and it's like a 1-to-1. So it was
Yeah.
actually like a good thing to figure out rather than feeling like, why do I feel good today or not? It's been a good time to like sort of test stuff because everything is a control. Like you have no options. So like if the only thing that changed is walking or not, you can really see how that affects you. And that stuff has
That's
actually been
interesting. That's true. Yeah.
clarifying.
There's not the element of like, was it because I had a bad show or I had this weird interaction with somebody
Right.
or I didn't get this job? It's like, no, that's all pretty consistent.
Right. For
That's
me
funny.
right now, I'm not having to deal with like the outside world a ton or like working or whatever. So like good days and bad days are really up to like me. And so it's a nice time to figure out like what do I have to do for me to have a good day rather than based on like did someone say I'm great today or laugh at me? Which is sometimes what I need.
Right. Absolutely.
So my overall well-being, I'm optimistic, but it's still tough out here, and I think that can be okay. I don't know.
Yeah. Um,
Um, yeah.
Yesterday I was looking the big thing we've talked about this before the that I appreciate is my meals. Those are the things I look forward to.
Right.
And yesterday I made a batch of pancakes and it was bad. And I made a burger for dinner and it was bad. And
Oh,
so that was a real downer.
what happened?
Uh, just lack of focus, rushing. The
Mhm.
pancakes, I had oat milk, but not whole milk
Mm.
or any milk other than that. And I
Yeah,
think it made the batter too thick.
too thick.
Yeah,
Interesting.
because oat milk is very like
Uh-huh.
It's
It's
oaty.
got
It's
some
got that
chalk.
like yeah, chalky.
Right.
Um,
Would you do it again with oat milk and maybe add some water or add
I
more oat
did add
milk?
water to this batch. It just ended up being like kind of gummy and like it was
Mhm.
fine. I threw some chocolate chips in there. I tried a different pan for the first pancake and the pan just got too hot and burned the chocolate chips and it got all smoky and it was just,
Sounds like a like once the frustration kicked in, it just ran away from you.
yeah, it's just, I just wanted breakfast.
Yeah. Yeah, breakfast is not yeah, you don't wanna put out a fire at that time. And what
And
happened with the burger?
too thick. I made them too thick
Which is
and
something I've never heard you say. Too thick,
no,
that's your whole
no,
thing.
absolutely.
Then like some thick.
It's an oxymoron for me too and thick.
Too thick, and what was it, just not cooked through or burnt on the
Yeah,
outside, not
I did it on the grill,
outside?
uh, outside,
Mhm.
no outdoor lighting, so I was using my cell phone light
It's
and
hard.
just, did the push test, and it felt like the right,
Mhm.
tenderness or whatever for a medium burger, but then I bit into it, and it was still a little red, not cooked through, and so I just finished it on the pan, and it was just kinda whatever.
Right, and then you're just worried. I
Yeah.
getcha. Cooking is an interesting thing like that because if it goes great, it can make you feel so good. A, because it tastes delicious, you're filled up after whatever, and you get the feeling of, like, accomplishment of, like, "Wow, I really made that. I really, like, made a beautiful meal. That tastes really good, and I'm good for that." But, man, if you mess up your own food and then have to eat it, it gives you the exact opposite. For me, it's like, I suck because I'm not a good cook, and I have to eat a crappy meal now, and I have no one to blame but myself. It's like, I can really, like, fall down a spiral of that shit of, like, living or dying by the quality of my own meal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like getting my nose rubbed in the mess that I made.
Yeah, absolutely. By yourself. Yeah, you're like, "Oh, that's really harsh. Really harsh." I had to go out yesterday to pick up a new mask. Big time mask life. Everybody, if you're out in public, put on a mask. Don't cough on anybody. Keep your germs to yourself. But then when I did, I was right by a little tiny grocery store, a little country market sort of, and I went in there and they had everything I needed, and there was nobody in there. And I haven't really been to the grocery store since I've been inside. I've been doing delivery and stuff, grocery delivery, and it was awesome. And I got eggs for the first time again. Oh, I cooked 3 eggs this morning, and it was so delicious. It was like, I think just eggs with butter is maybe my favorite food.
It's really great.
The older I
And I
get, the
need to
more
try
like
these eggs because you've been perfecting the egg for about 6 months now. Yeah, we'll gotta
yeah.
check in every month or so conversationally.
And I don't know how it's getting better, but it's getting better by the month. I'm getting better at making eggs, and I'm not even doing anything fancy. I think it's just like what you were saying. You just got to have focus. The egg is if it's
Yeah.
fickle. It's fickle.
Yeah, you gotta talk to it, and you just gotta feel it.
Listen, if you love your meal, it's going to love you back. If you don't, you're going to be rubbing your nose in it, and
That's what's been happening.
we know it. I think cooking is one of the great things you can do for yourself for your life. If you teach yourself how to cook, you have a good day every day. If you never know how to cook, like I guess I remember there was a time where I didn't know how to cook anything, and I just felt like so prisoner. Like all
Mhm.
I could eat was like dry food, like crackers or
Crackers and
what do you
cereal.
do if you refuse to cook anything for yourself?
Yeah, delivery, eat out
Yeah,
a
but
lot, eat
I'll tell you what,
simple
learn to
meals.
cook. It life gets better.
It's nice if you got the time.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. Well, should we move on to our second big question of the week, Dan?
Yeah, what was the first oh, so we're at a 6.5 to 7.5 is what we're
Yeah,
rating
we're
ours.
right in that zone. And are you
Yeah.
vacillating or are you finding it pretty constant?
I'm pretty much in a constant. I'm not going from like a 2 to a 9,
Yeah.
but, um, I'll go up or down 2 or 3 points.
Right.
I've found, my/our therapist, we talked a lot about or I talked about this, and then she recommended, like, thinking about this is, like, the perfect time to, like, think about how to make like you were saying, how to make yourself happy.
Mhm.
And even though there's, like, a lot of external circumstances, uh, it really, like, shines a light on my life.
Yes.
Uh, and so you could strip out all of the like chaos of the world and like the pain and sadness, and that will always be a constant. So I might as well figure it out now, which I like
Right.
thinking about it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, I can be pretty reactionary. So like
Yeah,
a lot of my life can be just be like reacting to the stuff around me, but now there's nothing around me to react to. It's like, oh, I guess I have to make more choices for myself.
yeah.
Figure out how I do like to roll.
I also do feel a
Um
great deal of gratitude that my life is the way it is right now. Like that the things that I have to really stress about are like a bad pancake I made for myself,
mhm.
and like editing a podcast in time and that type of thing.
Yeah.
That element that I have everything I need for the most part is very nice.
Right. We're very
Uh,
lucky and we appreciate all of our listeners and patrons who are really giving us that ability right now. Like
yeah,
one of the reasons I don't have to run out and stress is this little community. It's pretty cool.
yeah,
But shout out to all the health workers and grocery workers and uh, essential people in public who are making the world still run so that we can be at home and still have food and all that stuff. I think you're right to be grateful and thoughtful about how okay we are when literally people are dying and like that's the
yeah,
threat, you know.
yeah.
Well, that's nice. What a nice little overall well-being. How's everybody doing at home? What's your OWB? Your overall well-being. Hit us on the
Now,
Twitter or the Discord
hit us on
or
the Twitter, the Discord, or the Patreon. Hashtag down with OWB.
that's right.
And let us know your number. Give us the number. Hashtag down with OWB.
And also throw out an OPP. Let us know if you're down with other people's pussy, whatever you want to do. um, now
I always thought that the other P was property.
I think maybe they say it a couple different ways.
I
But
see.
but I think OPP is other people's pussy, but I could be wrong. Let
Now,
us
Naughty
know if
by
I'm
Nature.
wrong. Yeah, naughty by nature.
2 hits, amazing songs that have really stood the test of time, I think.
Yeah.
They come up, they're referenced, they like stuck into the
Yes.
overall public consciousness, but not much else, right?
Yeah, I mean they've had a couple of good things, and Tretch, the bigger dude, has been in like some movies and stuff, but they
Oh, good
definitely
for Stretch.
never crested that ultimate fame. They were like big '90s party rap, and then that sort of ended. I
Yeah.
think that song "Feel Me Flow," one of theirs is it's a good one. They all like party and in the snow, and they're like snowboarding and partying. It's really fun.
Mm.
Anyway,
Um,
Dan, what's your screen time been like? Are you addicted
okay.
to the phone?
I am addicted to the phone. I'm on big screen time. I have cut out almost all news,
Mm-hmm.
which is nice, because I find that it is a constant stream of things that stress me out that I have no control over.
Mm-hmm.
So I am on my phone. I'm kind of bouncing between like text chains, shopping for things that I'll never buy, but
Mm-hmm.
just like shopping for an imaginary future life. Um, and
Oh, I want to hear about this imaginary future life. I don't have one right now.
no,
I'm pretty convinced I'll be like this for a long time.
yeah, uh,
What are some things on
just
that
like
list?
a dresser. Right, I here we go. Is this gonna be? I hang my t-shirts,
Uh-huh.
and they're all just
Right.
freaking. You can't really tell, but this is not
No, I can tell.
LTP. This is a tight collared shirt.
Right.
And so I bought some new shirts that I'm refusing to hang until I have a dresser now.
Good for you.
Um, it's just imagining what that would be like. A brand new bedroom. I am, this
Yeah.
whole quarantine thing. I hate my bedroom.
Sometimes you got to do a like a remodel rather than
Yeah,
a one piece by one piece sort of a reimagination.
yeah. And so imagining it is nice, but I just can't afford that
Right.
type of thing. Uh, so
And it's like also what are you going to do? Just do it again next month?
yeah.
Like
And-
it may be that it's not the room, it's that I'm spending so much fucking time in it and like I'm looking for things to make perfect. Like
mhm. But I do feel that I don't have a single comfortable space in my room.
yeah, that's
Um,
tough.
I have my bed, and then the rest of it is like barely serviceable.
Right. Yeah,
Uh,
your room is set up kind of tough for spatial.
It sucks. I
Yeah,
hate
you
it.
don't have a ton of room.
It's,
But I'm liking that background. That background's working for me. Especially, I mean, tell me they're in a G, and especially in time for, oh yeah, our first big joke.
it's a prop from an early Big Grande performance.
An early Big Grande hosting bit on Herald Night at UCB.
That's right.
Promoting our first sketch show or our second sketch show?
I think our first one.
Mm-hmm. And we all came out to ba-dum ba-dum bump, hey, ba-dum 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 bump, hey. We came out one at a time, and we came out with bigger and bigger mustaches. And the last person brought out that poster that said the idea of the biggest mustache. Right? Which I still think is pretty funny.
It is so funny to me.
It's funny to me. I don't know that the audience loved it, but it's funny to me.
We told the audience at the end of the show, and they said they did get it.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you did get it, which is different from loving it, but yes. You got it. Okay. No, we got it.
We were very good hosts. I was proud of our ability to do that.
Yeah, it was fun.
So what about your screen time? Where are you at?
My screen time has been up a little bit from, public life, of course. And I do find myself sort of obsessed with Instagram, and because I just feel like I'm going to see something more interesting than what's in my house. I just want to see like what other people are doing. I want to see friends living. So I don't feel like the only zombie living on Earth. But it's also not healthy, because I should, instead of looking on Instagram, I should like Zoom a friend or like FaceTime a friend, like actually connect with someone rather than just look at what everyone's doing in their house,
Right.
But I just put a limit on my Instagram and my Twitter for like 2 hours a day total. So I can only look at those two things for 2 hours a day. And then it starts reminding you that you've hit your limit, and you can just go like ignore limit for 15 minutes or whatever. So I just go like, okay, I'll just keep doing that. I'll just keep going on for like short stints rather than like for an hour at a time.
It's like hitting the snooze button a little bit.
Yeah. As soon as I get comfortable hitting that, give me 15 more minutes, it's just going to be the same bullshit. So it's an exercise in like, I do want to do it less, but I also don't want to just completely quit, because I know that won't be sustainable. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I am doing better with like not watching the news, and I can always log on to the news and get all of it in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't need to like keep having them say that this is scary and that there's just nothing new. You know what I mean? Like, they have jobs just like everyone else, so they have to keep doing the news, but there isn't news that's super pertinent to anything that I can like do right now. So it feels kind of frustrating. It just feels, even the political stuff, it fucking pisses me off, and I hate Trump, and he's got COVID, and I hope whatever. But I'm not, I don't want to put it on literal tape and
finish that sentence in your heads, everybody.
I hope Trump dies from COVID-19. That's what I hope. This motherfucker. He's trying to kill all these other people. I hope it, bites him in the butt. No, I don't. I never wish that on anybody. But
I think
the irony, man.
I think we're going to cut this, but I wish he died from COVID. Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess I do. I guess it is sort of it would be a cosmic lesson for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think we all need one of those. And I think he definitely fucking needs one of those. He's yeah.
But yeah,
welcome back to Leaning Left, a political podcast. Just kidding.
Just leaning human.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just care about people.
If there's anybody who's like, Trump is great right now, they're just sick. They're sickos.
It's a hard mindset to even get in.
Mike Birbiglia. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Mike Birbiglia tweeted something great that was like, I never thought I'd see a day when 20,000 Americans died and the president doesn't act like he cares or feel bad. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty unprecedented, that the president doesn't even say that this is sad. He just says I'm doing good. The ratings are good. It's like, that's not what we're thinking about. You're just not, you're not even listening.
It's so sad.
Yeah. It's like, really frustrating.
I don't know. Everybody, I guess we all needed, apparently part of the high school curriculum needed to be called identifying sociopaths.
Right.
Something
I think that's a new thing.
Needed to learn.
Right. I think that's like a new thing in our generation. I think that's like our generation's task is to end this fucking no more sociopaths and narcissists that get to be fucking kings and queens. Like
Mm.
it doesn't, we're not all gonna just allow that and be like, okay, I'm shit and you're the king. What? Why would anybody feel that way about either of those people? Like,
Yeah.
we all need to be equal. It's, I don't know. I just can't. Sorry, I'm not very articulate, but.
I mean, it sounds like we got a socialist over here.
Well, welcome back to Leaning Left.
My screen time, what do you think my average for this week is?
4 hours and 30 minutes.
Okay. Let's see. And I think I will trim some of this because it's going to take a second for me to access it. I don't actually know how to see my weekly average. Here.
My daily average is, I just did the swipe down and hit search screen time and just clicked on it. My daily average is 3 hours and 15 minutes, down 64% from last week.
3:15.
But I think it's only because I put that limiter on.
Mine is 5 hours and 23 minutes.
Okay, so I'm about 2 hours better a person than you per day.
You're better than me. What's your the majority of your activity?
How do you do that?
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
I mean, apps for sure. It's got to be apps. Let us know if you're into apps. What do you use your phone for? Is it apps? Is it Paperweight?
My top two are Kindle.
Oh, good for you.
Kindle, Chrome, and Messages, so texting and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so you're 2 hours better than me. Congratulations.
Thanks, great, man. But again, it's only because I put that limiter on it. If we add 64% more, we're probably pretty close to the same. What a surprise. We're living similarly.
What's the next category?
Well, Dan, this is another really important one. Maybe the most important of all. How are you
Let's do this, actually. Cut it.
We can cut
I'm going to keep this interactive element going. Everybody try to guess our screen time for the next week. Yeah. Who can get the closest? Who can be the most accurate? We will shout out the best guest and the worst guest on next week's episode.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Are we going to go up? Does someone have confidence that I'm going to have the willpower to keep that number going down? Or do we all know that I'm going to yo-yo right back up?
Well, I don't know that you'll yo-yo, but perhaps you will what is it called? Regression towards the mean? Is that
like
the
level
right word
out
for
a little bit?
Term? Level out. You won't shoot back to a terrible one.
Sure.
And I am quantifying it as terrible. It will be bad if it's high.
Well, yeah, that's where you are. We know you're bad. You're a bad boy.
I'm a bad boy.
Via screen time.
Honestly, I think it's closer to 14 hours. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know. I don't know. There's not a time where I'm not on my phone unless I'm literally using my two hands for something else. Like I'm walking to the other room. In the bathroom, I'm on my phone. Like there's just not a time. I guess cooking when I'm using two hands. But yeah, it's my best buddy. Well, Dan, the next one's really important. How are you sleeping? How has your sleeping been affected? Is it better? Is it worse? Have the hours shifted? Is the longevity better? Do you use one of those apps that lets you know when you're in REM?
Okay, last question first. I don't use the REM app because I share a bed with my dog, and I think her movements, maybe it wouldn't throw it off. Maybe it would tell me exactly how badly we're sleeping.
Right.
Speaking of my dog, I got to go let her out the fucking door real quick.
Well, we're going to keep on going, folks. You see Dan, he's walking to the door in his custom Kendrick Lamar sweatshirt. He's letting out the dog. Who let the dogs out? Dan. Let the dog out. Let us know your screen time, folks.
And I took my hoodie off. I
heard discarded.
I had to take my I heard who let the dogs out, and then I had to take my headphones off to take my hoodie off. I didn't hear what you said after that.
I've just started sort of ad-libbing poorly.
I said,
let us know your screen time, folks. Let us know how you're sleeping.
I'll tell you this, right as the hoodie came off, the big stink came out. I have some BO.
I showered today just because that I found that I'm showering even before these video things because they make me feel like I'm showing up more. Like
Yeah,
like if basically if my hair feels greasy, I can't act regular. Is how I feel.
I'm with you. It like it's like a grime on your whole body, like
Yeah.
an emotional grime.
Uh-huh. Yeah, a shower is truly cleansing for me. I find that my showers have been up through this whole time and they
I
kind of
should,
keep me sane. Um
yeah,
there sometimes it'll be like, oh, it's weirdly I've slipped and it's been a day and a half, but then I'll take like 3 in the next day or whatever, and it's nice. And with this rain, I don't feel so bad about it.
uh, you don't feel bad because
You know,
of
the drought, Southern
the
California.
drought,
I don't want to be taking excess showers like I'm a king or whatever. I mean,
right?
you never know. You hear every few years the drought, but then it goes away. I never know, but I guess somewhere in my psyche is built in that taking a long shower is just unnecessary, or a lot of
Right.
them. How are you sleeping, Dan? Are you getting restful sleep? I know you have the dog. Does she help you sleep better or worse, do you think?
Worse,
Pretty simple.
I don't think I've gotten like a good night's sleep since maybe like in 3 to 4 years. She really takes up the bed. She moves around. It is bad, and you could blame the dog, but it's the owner's fault.
Uh-huh.
She doesn't know what she's doing. She's an idiot dog on a
Right.
bed. I have chosen not to train her to sleep on the ground on a dog bed because I like the comfort of having her in the bed
Yeah.
with me.
But she's a big
Um,
girl. She's what, 60 pounds?
she's probably about 55 to 60,
Yeah.
and she is a
Big fat ass like we saw earlier in the mirror.
yeah. Well, not too thick, but I like it. Um, so and she's a stretcher. She likes to sleep fully stretched out. But
Yeah.
what either when she's depressed or when I am, she likes to spoon. It just comes out of nowhere. And she's
Hmm.
been in a very spoony mood the past couple weeks. I think
That's
she's
kind of nice.
depressed. Uh
You think she is? You think she can tell that she's depressed?
yeah. And so it has been nice to just like have that like comfort of a dog.
Right. Right.
Uh but I don't wake up feeling incredibly rested. I have been dreaming again the past week or so, which means I am getting deeper sleep.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Good dreams? Do you
On and
remember your
off.
dreams? Yeah.
I started writing them down to because I'll talk to my therapist about them if they feel meaningful, um, and then they become easier to remember also. But
Right.
last night I was on this will be interesting. I was on a bus with a bunch of people, but in the back of the bus was me, Betsy Sodaro, and Lauren Lapkus, and we were going to some sort of performance. And Lauren and I had nothing to talk about. And then she told me how her and her husband met, and it was like a funny story. The
And that's the dream.
yeah, and that's the dream.
Interesting. Cool.
Pretty mild.
That's pretty good though. I like that.
Yeah,
You, Lauren, and Betsy are all ascending to fame, and you're on the same bus, and you're going to the same place, and you're excited to have a fun, interesting story like Lauren.
I know. That's what it is.
That's
And
exactly
I'll
what
tell
it
you
is.
this much: how it is so funny how in 1 month, the idea of fame can become so unimportant.
Yeah.
Uh, like I'd been like wrestling with that my whole life, really. Of like, what do you want here as
Right.
a comedic performer? And that more and more, it's not fame. But then once it hits in a way like this, where it's like, oh, absolutely not fame. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right. Right. Yeah. I feel like societally, fame is unhealthy.
It's back to that whole fucking we got to stop valuing narcissists and sociopaths. Like
Yep.
celebrity is it like our value of celebrity is all
Right.
that.
I was thinking the other day, like, what if every town just had like 20 really funny performers instead of us having to have like 20 national ones that we make $1 billion movies with? Like, I mean, whatever. Who cares? What a dumb idea. But like, it would be so fun if everybody enjoyed the funny people in their town rather than like the same funny people in America. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that it would be like more sustainable for more people, but instead it's like you're either hugely famous or you're on unemployment trying, you know? And it's like there's got to be like a middle ground where like people do enjoy seeing live comedy or I don't know, some other bullshit. I feel like podcasting is that a little bit. It's like people are having more of a voice and like being able to get it out there. So you're finding more niche forms of entertainment rather than, corporate organized entertainment,
Yeah.
which I think is cool. It's like, and social media too, right? Like Instagram and even like YouTube stars, as much as that is like annoying and obnoxious that they become stars, it's cool that they're able to do it completely out of a system and just because people like them. You know what I mean? I think that
Yeah, it's pretty
does help, like,
democratic, right?
exactly. Yeah, it definitely does that, I think. Until they just go like, great, now I'm in movies. And it's like the same cycle, tough to pass up a million. We're talking about sleeping.
Yeah, how have you been sleeping?
I've been sleeping pretty good, actually. I used to not sleep well, and it's been pretty good lately. I've lost a little bit of weight on the Qtine, and that's been nice. And I've been back to how I'm overall well-being. I think it's up in general. My mental has been a little bit bummed, but my physical, I feel a lot better. I've been eating better and not eating like fast food all the time and just eating healthier and letting myself sleep as long as I want. And I feel pretty great.
That's nice.
Just physically.
Right.
Like, I feel like not like, yeah, I don't feel tight. I just feel like rested and that feels good. I do, because we're not in extremely productive times, I am staying up till like 3 in the morning and sleeping till like noon. So it's definitely not conducive to like other people's schedule or the working world. But like we said, like I'm doing so little stuff outside of my house that it kind of feels like, doesn't really matter when. But I do think I need to find a little bit more of a sustainable way to get my 9 hours.
Yeah. I wonder, there's always those studies that come out that just say like there are different rhythms. Like some people are like morning rhythms, some are
Right.
afternoon, some are night. I wonder how much that is like in your bones and blood and body and what's like you're just used to from repetition and stuff.
Right.
Like maybe that is just your rhythm, and since you don't have to live up to like a societal higher like structure right now, you live but based on your natural rhythm.
Oh, I love that idea. Thanks for allowing that for me. That's a very nice idea. Yeah, that feels right. I don't know. I do think I have like blackout curtains in my room, and I'm like, I think I have to get rid of those and wake up a little bit more on like a circadian rhythm. I don't want to be asleep through most of the sunlight
Yeah.
and then awake through most of the dark. Like that doesn't feel great.
I found it helpful and kind of enjoyed. I would leave my curtains open so that I would wake up kind of with the light. But our neighbors' windows look into my bedroom.
Right.
And so it's like kind of upsetting. Like it's like their kitchen window. So it's like if they're washing dishes, their view is me sleeping.
Right. Same with me. Like my house is a little bit raised and in the backyard of my neighbor's house. So like if they walk out their back door, I'm like a little fishbowl. Like I have all windows on the side of my house and I'm just like right above their fence in their backyard.
Yeah.
It's kind of strange, and that's why I need those blackout curtains. But yeah, it makes me sleep all day.
And they've been tapping on your window and throwing little flakes in through your roof?
Yeah, they've been doing tap, tap, tappies and saying, look how big his belly's getting. And they're wondering why I'm floating to the top, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
Yeah, my neighbors are constantly wondering if I'm asleep or dead.
Have you ever owned a fish?
Yeah, we were a pretty fishy family.
Well, I knew that.
We would go down to Rocky Point in Mexico in our and stay in a trailer park there by the beach and go down.
Because you had an RV, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like my dad was at a constant war with the like the neighborhood association about. They would like constantly threaten to sue him and shit because like our place, like our front looked like it was just like an RV and a bunch of trash and like the oldest Chevrolet truck you could imagine.
Oh, how funny. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. And he was like, so they kept complaining. And so he just built a fence in front of the trash instead of moving the trash. Like,
no way.
But we had this RV, this like 1985 Allegro, roughing it smoothly was what it said on the back.
So cool.
And we would go down to Mexico and stay in a trailer park and go down to the tide pools and collect hermit crabs and little fish and stuff and then bring them home.
That's a fun experience for a kid.
It was great.
Tide pools, I mean, the whole ocean is right there.
Tide pools it's a little ecosystem.
Uh-huh.
It's great, yeah.
That's really cool. I feel very
It
fortunate.
was very magical times.
Yeah, I love that. That's so cool that you got to do that. That sounds fun. Um,
You love that.
I feel very fortunate to have grown up in California and had a lot of like naturey experiences like that, like going to tide pools and going like I grew up in Northern California and a little bit in Southern California as well, and got a little bit of that like Mendocino, NorCal redwood stuff and Tahoe experiences, and also some of that like San Diego tide pool ocean type experiences. I feel very lucky for those.
We both kind of have a water boy feel to us. We are comfortable in the water.
I'm an Aquarius, so of course,
Mm-hmm.
well, the water bearer, you know what I mean? Born of the sea. I used to be on a swim team when I was a kid. I like competitively swam,
Oh,
and
I didn't know that about you.
I was a very water boy. Did it all the way since like a little kid. Learned to swim when I was like, one, very young, because my parents had a sailboat, and so they didn't want me to roll off and not know how
We
to swim.
we both had boating parents.
Yeah, yeah. My dad was a big sailor. He had several, and he would like buy one, fix it up, use it, sell it, and get like a slightly bigger one. He ended up with like a 30-foot one. He wanted to sail around the world. That was his plan,
Mm.
but he never did.
How far did he get?
Catalina, and then he had to come back. We did used to sail to Catalina kind of often. Like that was like a fun little weekend trip. But yeah, yeah. I think he went to Australia to see the like something cup or regatta
Mm.
or something big, but he didn't sail there for it. He was just there for it.
Um,
Yeah, big water
wasn't it
boys.
that he went to Italy to see the ricotta?
Oh, that's right. He went to Italy and he ate some ricotta. Yeah, he always talks about it like it's this big thing. But he had ricotta in Italy once. um, yeah, I think we are both big water boys. I mean, I can't have enough of it. If there's any chance I could submerge, I'm taking it. Like even if I go to a party that's like people aren't really swimming, I'm definitely looking to be like, hey, like will you swim with me? Like I
Mm-hmm.
have to go swimming.
Well,
Um,
you'll say to me because you can't swim, so you'll say, "Will you go in and hold me up in the deep end?"
yeah, and I say hands up, not feet up, because we've had that mistake before. I have
Yeah,
long toes; they look like fingers. And
yeah. I held you by the feet
well, you were
in
talking to
about
me
nine
too.
feet depth. Yeah,
Yeah, you were talking to me, looking at me like it was my face. It was a close day. I almost deceased.
yeah. Not used enough as an what is it, a verb?
Verb to decease.
Yeah.
I guess to cease.
You could cease. You could
You are,
decease.
yeah, interesting. What does deceased mean? They've stopped stopping? Deceased?
Deceased.
They've
You've
been
unceased.
unstopped? It must just be a
Um,
whole different thing.
yeah. Hey Jesus, we need to talk about this language you invented.
Hey, I know this is sort of your day and everything. It's Easter, by the way. Happy
We're
Easter to
recording on
everybody.
Easter. We
That's
have
right.
now this week recorded on both Pesach and Easter, so equally celebratory or blasphemous,
And
depending
Chog
on how you
Shamash
get.
or
And
whatever?
Chag Shamash, we record on Chag Shamash.
Again, I don't know. Well, how do we sleep? We're sleeping okay. Should we move on to the next little bullet?
Yeah, is there an interactive thing here? Folks, let us know how you're sleeping. If you're sharing a bed with somebody, who's hogging the blankets, who's snoring, and who is the hog?
That's right. Are you tossing and turning or are you sleeping and burning
Okay.
the calories? Because sleep is good
Sleep
for you
burns.
when it comes to that.
It burns
Now,
calories.
next sort of topic of the week, the big question. We know we're all stuck at home. We're not going out. We're making do. We're doing a lot for ourselves that maybe not everybody's used to. I know I'm not. What's your meal of the week? Have you prepared
Hmm.
something that you've really loved? Have you splurged on a delivery? You know, when most of the stuff has been taken away from us and all we have is our 3 meals a day to make us happy, what has been your meal of the week? Do you have one, Dan?
That almost sounded like the beginning of like a Law and Order type episode,
Yeah.
or like a movie trailer. When
Yeah, it was
most of our
good
life has
hosting,
been
I
taken
thought.
away from us. Yeah, it was really good.
Thank you.
Um, Meal of the week. I made myself, and this is, by the way, this meal was co-produced by Ryan Rosenberg.
Oh my god.
Uh, I had some pork chops, and I didn't know how to cook them because I just kind of panic bought different meats.
I
And
loved
so
it. He hit me with a, hey, got some pork chops. What do you recommend?
and so you sent me a little recipe for a pan sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So I pan cooked the pork chops, and then I made a little sauce using like the leftover frond from the pan and some of the grease and some butter. And then for me, the main, and garlic, the main thing that really turned it up was some Dijon mustard.
Oh, yeah.
And I put that on the chops, and then I made a
Did you have any
rush.
herbs? Any herbs? Throw a little
I
herb
had
in there.
I had a little bit of I have to go through the Simon and Garfunkel song to remember what this one's called.
Rosemary, garlic, thyme.
Rosemary.
Nice.
I had some rosemary
That's
that I threw in there.
perfect. Perfect for pork.
And then I had too many sweet potatoes and carrots, so I needed to make something kind of big with that.
Sorry.
Bong. And so I mashed a carrot sweet potato mash with like turmeric.
And how was that? That
ginger.
looked pretty good and inventive when I saw it.
Undercooked a little bit on the boil. Rushed the boil a little bit. You can tell that there's a trend here of rushing my meals. And so it could have been smoother. I would have liked it to be a little more whipped and smooth, but it tasted good. It just wasn't the consistency I wanted.
Right. Well, congrats on the chops and the first pan sauce. I think for everyone listening at home who doesn't know, a pan sauce is a ticket to a good meal every time.
Absolutely, and it's just
it's already there.
The sauce from the pan.
Yeah, you just got to throw in some liquid and get all that fond off the thing, and ooh, baby, it's good. I love to learn to cook through YouTube videos or like just informational videos in any way. I follow that Bon Appetit one. They're great. There's like an all recipes thing that are great. Ooh, I love to cook. That sounds like a great meal, Dan. I'm proud of you for going adventurous.
Thank you. I mean, I'm proud of you for giving me that great recommendation.
Me too.
What about you, MOTW?
What is my meal of the week? Well, last week, my roommate ordered some surprise pizza on Friday, and he said, I ordered Friday pizza, have some, and that was such a surprise treat. So I did it this week, and I said, hey, I got Friday pizza, feel free to have some. And that was a nice little nostalgic meal for myself to just like, I've been cooking a lot and just tired of doing dishes. And in the beginning, I was cooking interesting meals and trying to like really feel like a chef. But I've gotten pretty tired of all the dishes and like the actual work. So I've just been doing lazier stuff. This week I did like probably a couple too many quesadillas and like, just like really easy stuff like that. And then I had a couple of things that I didn't nail from HelloFresh that were like veggie couscous things. So I wasn't super stoked about that. Usually my HelloFresh meal of the week is one of my faves, but this week I think it's got to be the nostalgic pizza. I just got Domino's delivered, and I also got their little cookie brownie thing.
Ooh,
dude, surprisingly good. Surprisingly good. And yeah, that was really nice. What other? And then honestly, probably those 3 eggs I made this morning was like, just because I sort of ran out of a lot of my fresh food and was going into like, okay, having rice again or beans or like canned and just not a lot of like fresh stuff. And man, just having like a fresh egg prepared made me feel so, it sounds corny, just made me feel really alive.
Oh yeah.
Just really made me feel like, oh yeah, we're fine. I'm eating a tasty egg.
Yeah.
So maybe that was my meal of the week, just getting back to the eggs.
I love imagining a little Popeye. Let's throw those eggs down and then pump those forearms.
It was kind of a boop, 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 boop. I felt pretty good. So yeah, I'm going to stick with the egg trend and highly recommend finding a market you feel safe at. The closest store to me, even if I walk up to it or drive past it, I can see that people are kind of fucking around and not taking it that serious. But I went to this little local market where there was nobody there, and boy, it was just a dream to feel like I wasn't going to catch a sickness.
Mm-hmm.
Do what you got to do to get some eggs or some fresh food. Maybe that's horrible advice, but be safe, number one. And if you can be safe, do the little things that make you happy.
I like that advice.
So what's your meal of the week? What's your MOW? MOTW? Is it
I want to see some Maybe we'll start a recipe chain on the Discord. I want to see some recipes.
Oh yeah. Yes, absolutely. I want to see everything from your like tater tot casserole, like sitting at home comfort food, and I want to see some people put out the white tablecloth. I want to see,
Wow.
any at home chefs who really feel like they can dazzle. Why not take a nice picture of your food and get some love for it? I'm definitely going to do that soon.
Some nice tablecloth pictures.
Yes. Well, I don't know that I have a tablecloth, but I'll definitely make a meal, present it nicely, and take a picture of it.
I'd like to hear it.
And man, also nothing funnier than someone does that with horrible food.
Oh yeah.
When they do a food brag and it's like, have you ever eaten before? Because this looks disgusting to everybody who's had food.
Well, I'm not a presentation guy. So my meals rarely look that great, but I'm not showing them to people.
You're not using a visual medium to talk about.
That's right.
It's like, hey, pictures are for the eyes. If this doesn't look good for the eyes, there's not going to be a good picture. I don't care what it's of.
We can't taste your picture. We can only look at it, and it looks like it tastes bad.
It looks disgusting, my brother. Oh, it's just so funny to me. It's a little funny, but it also kind of makes me feel for the person. It makes me feel sad of like, oh, like, is this what you think good food is? Come over. Like, let's go somewhere.
Let me give you 2 pieces of advice that'll change your life forever.
Yeah, please. I want to hear those 2 pieces.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the meal, but I feel like all of those pictures, that's all it is. It's like, hey, your preheat is way too low.
Right.
And shape it on the plate. Like, give me some shape.
Right.
If you're taking a picture.
And I have to say, my other big recommendation is you can lose the words from scratch. We all know that if you cooked it from the ingredients, I don't know. I think from scratch is looking for a little extra pat than you need.
I think no one's made anything from scratch since grandma.
I agree. If you're not a grandma, it's not from scratch. And also, I think technically from scratch is only baking. Like from scratch means you baked it either with a box recipe or you got all the stuff and did it yourself. I think scratch is like from nothing.
If you cooked dinner at home, it had to have been from scratch.
Yes,
no one
which is why it's an unnecessary term. I think what you mean by from scratch is just used ingredients.
I mean,
grilled veggies from scratch. Hey, scrambled eggs from scratch.
It's also this weird, like, it's just indicative, and I'm like this too, of how funny our generation is, where it's like, I do need to be rewarded for cooking at home. Like this feeling of not being an authentic adult like people were 50 years ago. So when you do it once a month, it's like, everyone's got to know that I melted my own butter and put it in there. It's like, no, this is what people have been doing literally since the dawn of humanity.
Right. Exactly. It is so funny to me.
But I get it. Everybody's trying to connect in their own different ways. But if you're gonna try to connect with the whole world at once, I'm allowed to judge you.
Yeah, that's true. If you're gonna put it out there, I'm gonna tell you what I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm not actually.
Yeah, I'm gonna start a podcast and then months later talk about it. Great. What's your meal of the week? Let us know. Which brings us right into the watch of the week. Everybody knows you're stuck inside, you're bored. What kind of media are you consuming? The watch of the week, TV, movies, maybe even podcast or audio. What was your big watch of the week?
Now, it's probably the most pertinent question of all. We're all consuming some sort of watch. I got
ratings back.
Ratings are up. The president's ratings are up, which is great. It's a nice final thing for him to have before he dies of COVID, I hope.
I hope this motherfucker rots in hell from COVID, man. I swear to God. I'm not going to kill him, but I will dance on his grave if I get the chance. Are you kidding me? I'm a bad guy.
I remember when I can't remember if it was Nixon or Reagan. One of them died while I was like in Israel visiting my family with my mom, but my dad was still in America, and they were airing the funeral everywhere. And I was talking to my dad on the phone while they were airing the funeral, and I was like, "So what do you? How do you feel?" And he's like, "I don't know. I hated him when he's alive, and I hate him when he's dead." I was like, "Yeah, that's how I'm gonna feel about Trump." Like some people,
Right.
it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, that guy was scum while he was here. I'm glad he's not now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I this whole thing when people, I don't know, well, this is going to get into dicey territory, but when people are like, you should not be celebrating that this person died, it's like, well, I'm not going to choose to be a Buddhist about this one thing.
Right.
I'm either going to live thoughtfully and as a Buddhist and with love for everybody, every moment, and as mindful as possible,
Right.
or I'm not. And when somebody who caused great deal of pain and put hatred into the world and really hurt a million lives dies, I'm going to fucking piss on their graves.
It's like, wait a second. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
I'm really happy that all that shit is coming to an end. And if this is what it happened to have taken, okay, I guess that I'm happy.
I don't want anybody to kill anyone. I mean, we'll be the first ones to say we don't want anyone to kill anyone.
Yes, and I'm a hero for it. I know it's a rare
for it.
thought, and yeah, that's what we believe. We're really great guys.
But do you think people were tweeting, like, obviously not because it didn't exist, but like, hey, nobody's happy Hitler died. Nobody's happy Hitler died. That's still a human.
Right.
You know?
I guess I get both sides of it. I think you're not wrong to do it, but I do think sometimes there's a bit of grandstanding. I don't want to hear it from certain people. If you were never interested in politics, I don't want to have to listen to you dance around about Osama. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not appropriate. Like, if we never talked about this before, I don't need to. It seems unnecessary now.
Yeah, you never mentioned Osama once, and now you're dancing around about him?
Tommy Lee Jones got him! I think Tommy Lee Jones is the ultimate American in my mind. He's just like an old, an old white guy like that.
Yeah.
He seems because he always plays a cop in everything. U.S. Marshal, maybe it's that he's been a U.S. Marshal.
He was a U.S. Marshal in both Fugitive and U.S. Marshals.
Yep, Wesley Snipes, baby. I love Wesley Snipes, by the way.
I just rewatched White Men Can't Jump.
I saw that. That you watched it. John posted the movies you guys have ordered in your house or something.
Oh, really?
Was it? It was like White Man Can't Jump and two other funny ones.
White Man Can't Jump, Best of the Best, like an 80s
90s like fight
kickboxing movie.
Yeah. Which is badass. That there's like 4 of them, and it is a badass one.
It's really good. And it's the funny thing about Best of the Best is it's really like positive. All of the main characters, like the fighting guys, are all like good guys who are just doing it for redemption or whatever.
They just really are the best of the best.
Yeah, there's like one asshole, and it's like Chris Penn as like a Texas douchebag who's like 70 pounds overweight, but is somehow competing in the like national tournament for Taekwondo. But it's a great movie.
That's cool. Someone once told me in a commercial acting class, you do this thing where you get up and they put the camera on you, and everybody else in the class yells out what you look like. And it is a mortifying experience because people just go like, nerd, computer dad, fat friend, whatever. And some guy in my class, when I was up there, yelled out, not dead Chris Penn.
Oh.
And I was like, I think you could just say Chris Penn. I don't think I need to be labeled as pre-death.
It's like when someone says you look like an attractive blank. It's like you look like a not dead version of him. It's like, yeah, well, I hope I don't look like the fucking bloated corpse of Chris Penn.
Yeah, like what are you talking about? I don't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
there should be. Did you find that exercise helpful or hurtful?
A little bit of both.
Yeah,
a little bit of both. Like it was interesting, because you look at your own face all day, and for me, I'm sort of like stuck with like the story I have about myself, and it's hard to see me as other things, but it was cool to have people just be like, you could be this, you could be this. And I was like, oh, I only thought I presented as whatever.
There's a weird element to that because like if you want to be acting in commercials, you have to know how the like the dumbest way people would describe you in 1 second, because it's
Mm-hmm.
all commercials is. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, how do we get the lowest common denominator to think
Right.
X, Y, or Z thing as quickly as possible?
Well, there's
Uh,
also something that's really interesting. Like I do that with every person I've ever seen. I'm
yeah,
like, oh, sports guy. Oh, punk rock. Oh, like I just walk around and go like, because it's just what I think of them in a split second. But it's not like I'm trying to judge them, but they do kind of like fall into a box pretty quickly, you know?
yeah,
And I think that that's interesting. Like, what are people's unconscious views of you when they've never talked to you before or whatever?
yeah,
Like, I
absolutely.
think if people have never heard me talk and see me and then they hear my voice, I think their opinion of me changes immediately.
Yeah,
Be-
it is weird, because like once I known you so long, once you know a person so long, it's like hard to think of like what
right,
you thought of them before you ever met them.
right, right.
Like, because you would say that people think you're probably like a like dumb white sports guy or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Like a
just like a kind of a duh, you know, whatever. But I
yeah,
have like a high voice, and I'm like actually kind of analytical or whatever. Um, but yeah, same with you. People probably think you're what, like a short, high voiced,
yeah.
you know.
People, a lot of people look at me like pipsqueak.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard for you to overcome it.
I don't know what it would be for me. I mean, like, for when I don't have a beard, it's like a lot of people think I'm dumb. I think like, or like
Yeah.
oafy or something like that.
I
But I
feel like
don't
people
know.
hit you with that kind of stuff often, like more often than the way I see you, right? Like people come
Hmm.
up and they're like, lurch, or like some dumb, like, whoa. Yeah. I don't know. Just, it seems like people come up to you and are surprised at your size more than you see or carry yourself that way.
Hmm.
Like I don't think you carry yourself as like a big domineering person, but you are
Hmm.
6'7" with a big beard. So it's like
Yeah,
an
I'm kind of
interesting,
like when a Great Dane is won and they don't know they're a Great Dane yet.
right, right. When do you think you'll grow into your body?
Probably within 20 dog years.
Okay, good. So next 3 years,
Yeah,
you should be coordinated, and we'll see what
yeah.
happens. Great.
Uh,
Yeah. Did we get our watch of the weeks in?
we didn't get our watch of the week. I talked about those things I watched, but they were not my watches of the week.
Right.
Do you have one? I can go if you're still thinking.
I guess my watch of the week this week would probably have to be that Tory Lane's Instagram thing. We were watching Quarantine Radio on Instagram. Tory Lanez, who's a rapper and R&B singer, whatever, is just doing like a quarantine radio from wherever he's in, like his apartment or hotel or wherever. Looks like a high rise something. And they're just doing like a crazy DJ radio show all live on Instagram. And then they have people like Instagram live in with them who just like dance and twerk, and they put women's Cash App up and people like watch them dance and send them money. And it's just been like crazy. There's been like 400,000 people on it or something, or maybe more. Like, I don't remember what it was. He
Yeah,
set
I
the
don't know.
TikTok record for like most live TikTok stream or something like that. But I watched that a bunch this week, and we did sort of on our Big Grande text chain. We like watched it together for a minute, and we're like screaming about it. Quarantine, quarantine, quarantine.
It is so there is nothing in the world like it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's just him in front of his camera like this, holding a
right,
microphone to his face and just like talking at the world and like pouring champagne and like taking
right.
shots. And then like uh what's it, like Tiffany Haddish pops in and he talks to her on the Zoom screen, like in her house, and she's just like chilling and doing shots with him. It is so weird
It's
and
bizarre.
very funny. It's
Yeah.
just, I think we both like, and I think everyone in the world really like something that is so clearly shows exactly what someone's point of view is and what they're like. Like
He's
it feels
being
just
hundred
very
percent
honest,
himself.
just so himself,
Yeah,
and he's having such a fun time.
and I
And
could
it,
never do that. I would never be bold enough or that he doesn't care about what anybody thinks. For me, it's that. It's like, whoa, this person does not care if you like him, and that is genuine.
yeah,
Like, he's really being himself. My other big watch of the week, similar with like these Instagram things, is Swiss Beats is doing a thing where like legendary hip hop and rap producers will come on and take turns playing their songs over his
cool.
Instagram live. So like The Dream did one versus I don't remember who else, and who just signed up for one. Like Babyface just signed up to do one against some other like legendary producer, and they just take turns like playing their hits, and it's awesome. It's like,
Cool.
yeah, it's just a fun party, and like you remember all these awesome songs, and it's really cool.
Do they keep them up on Instagram, or is it just a live stream?
I think it's like a live stream, and then you can watch it for like the next day or something.
Yeah,
It's like,
okay.
a highlight or something like that. But it's cool. What about you? Are you watching something special?
I dipped right back into probably one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite, Peep Show.
Mm.
And
you've seen that all before.
Yeah, I've probably watched it all the way through a few times, and I find it to be so comforting. I don't know why. It's just so funny, and like the characters are it's like such shadow versions. Like it's like the worst version of humanity in both of them, but you still like them. And it's like a type of writing that's very funny because it like heightens to as surprising a place as you would want it to. It's just a sitcom, but it just goes really far.
But it's so interesting because the whole time it's shot as if you are in the character's point of view.
Yeah,
so like you can hear inner monologue and stuff like that too sometimes, right?
Yeah, you're hearing the two main characters' inner monologues the whole time, back and forth, and it's all of the shots are through point of view shots. Right. So a lot of people find it almost impossible to watch because it's a little jarring when they watch the pilot. But I think if you watch a few, you just get used to it. At least I have.
It's fascinating to me because it literally puts you like in their experience. Like the scene is like you are the guy whose inner monologue you're hearing, and you're talking to the woman he's talking to. Like she's looking you right in the eyes and saying lines back to you, and then you're hearing his inner monologue, and it's like, fuck, is this me? Like it kind of disintegrates the fourth wall thing. It like puts you in the character's perspective, which I think is fascinating.
And then like, at least for me, like the thoughts are like that they're able to access the dumbest and most narcissistic and like selfish thoughts that you have that you don't even know you're having or acknowledge.
Yes.
And then you hear the character saying it and you relate to having had that thought before or like that hope. And it's just very funny.
Yeah. To me, the sweet guy, like what seems like Mark, the main character, David like
Mitchell,
the sweet guy who's actually kind of a miserable prick is just like so funny. And I was like, oh, I need to see this and grow past this because I definitely identify with him. Like, no, I treat everybody politely, but I silently am mean and judgmental to everybody. Like,
yeah,
I think his character's so fascinating in that way.
He's like so obsessed with the rules of how you're supposed to live that he is paralyzed because he won't do anything.
And he makes all these crazy mistakes because of it, because he's trying to like not seem weird. He's so weird because of it. Like he's so preoccupied with his own like defensive weird shit.
So everybody hit us with your watch of the week.
And we don't mean these. And by these, I mean a watch I just held up. If you're not watching the video, if you're watching the video, just another perk.
Just another perk of the videos.
And here's the big question of the week. What has gone by the wayside? What is something that you did before Q-Teen, maybe even in the very beginning of Q-Teen, that you said, you know what, that's out. That I'm not doing it, or it has accidentally slipped, or I don't need it anymore. What is it? What's the big change? I feel like there's been a ton, to be honest.
My big one that I'm trying to be much more mindful about is I am not on a good toothbrushing schedule right now.
Yes, you mentioned this on a friend chain. It's funny.
Yeah, I thought maybe I'd get more people would relate to me about this, but apparently it's just me. At least on this text chain we were on. I'll miss a brush a day.
How many? So what's a normal day for you? I'm going to say 2.
9
morning. And so you're getting 8 brushes in, and you're not.
I'm only at 8. No, yeah, it's 2. It's a wake up brush and a before bed brush.
Yeah.
And so I will miss one of them now, and I'm trying to get both of them going again.
Yeah.
And I feel it in my mouth. I don't like it.
Right. It is strange because oftentimes what will prompt the brush in the morning for me is part of my morning routine for leaving the house.
That's what it is. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I agree with you. I'm probably closer to 1.5 to 1.75 a day. I'm definitely missing one of the 2 on occasion.
Okay.
I'm lying. It's way lower.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Don't tell anyone
So
that
did
part.
you sell me out on this text chain?
No. I think I don't know that mine has changed that much. I think it's
No.
sort of automatic-y. But
Yeah.
I think
Because you're
with my,
usually 2 a day. That's your average.
yeah, I mean, I try to be,
Yeah.
but I'm not so concerned if if I miss one, I miss one. I'll just get it on the next one.
Yeah.
When you spend a lot of time
left over in the
alone,
next
it
one.
doesn't really matter as long as you're taking care of your health. For me, it's like the thing I'm most concerned about is my fucking breath. I don't want other people to think I got stink
Exactly.
breath.
Yeah.
So,
Almost hurt my computer there.
oh my God, was that a Stella or just a?
I was about to get up, but she's scratching on my door.
Oh, I see. So Dan doesn't brush his teeth anymore, and that's gone by the wayside. But that's fine. He'll get back to it. He doesn't eat that much sugar anyway. What has gone by my wayside for this week? I would say it's been a little bit of my physical fitness routine. I've been on a great routine with this walk, like I have been talking about forever, is what it feels like. But this week with the rain, I couldn't. So I've been a little bit more lazy feeling and even a little bit more like depressed or bummed out because of that lazy feeling. So I'm trying to just be like, it was because of the rain. You'll get back out there, and do some stuff at home and all that. So that's gone by the wayside, but I intend to pick it back up,
And you will.
and I will. And that's.
Would
all
you
there is
like
to it.
some accountability check-ins? Not like, hey, are you
No,
walking?
no,
but
no.
like, hey.
No, because I'm
Doesn't
not trying to
help you.
do it as like I'm not trying to do it. I want to do it. I don't want to
Yeah.
have to do it. I want to try to remember that I enjoy it and that it's good for me, not that I have to do it or I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
That's been a
I
big
found
shift in my life lately, is trying to do things. Remember that I want to do them for me rather than you have to do this for whoever that voice is. You know what I
Right.
mean?
No one's going to punish you.
Yeah. Right.
There's not a better word than accountability, but I found it helpful with yoga, with doing that 30-day thing. Our friend Joel and I are both doing it, and so it's a nice little like,
Right.
just him being like, hey, did mine today, like,
Right.
is nice for me to be like, oh yeah, that's a good reminder.
Yeah, that is nice. I think I work better alone on stuff like that. Once it's attached to another person, I have a tough time not connecting my like worth or value to it, and I don't need to get mixed up in that. I'm just trying to figure things out for myself right now. But yeah, that's great on the yoga. I think that's I've done a couple of yoga with Adrian's, which seems to be the popular one in our social circle.
Yeah.
Over the Qtine, and it's great every time. Sometimes I think getting into yoga is too hard because I can't do difficult yoga, but I did a couple that I was surprised, like, oh, this was just like laying on the ground stretching. This got me ready for bed in a great way. So I did a couple of the easy ones and then figured like, oh, even when you're doing an easy one, it still sort of does get your blood moving and be a workout. So I could do one easy one a day and it would still be better than not doing anything.
Yeah. And she's good at organizing them and giving you ones that you know are going to be easy, which is nice.
Right.
Or like intro ones.
Right. Yeah, it's peaceful. She's good.
So that your by the wayside was the walks?
It was the walk,
Mine
but I
was the
intend to bring them
toothbrushing.
back. Yeah.
Right.
Yours to the toothbrushing. That's right. What else is my wayside? Oh, and for a minute it was driving. My car battery died and I had a friend jump it, and then I got back home and it died again. So I was like, okay, it's dead. And then I left it for over a week because I didn't really have anywhere to go or blah, blah, blah. But I got it changed this week and was able to use it again, which was nice and free. Make sure you got gas in your car and it's running, drive it around the block every week, something like that. So that went by the wayside. I wasn't driving, but I would like to.
Is this good? Does this help it enough? I do my therapy in my car with the engine on 1 hour.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Does that will that keep it alive, or do I have to drive it?
I think so.
Good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, why not?
And that's been Mechanics Corner with Ryan Rosenberg,
who don't take it for anything, to be honest.
This is just kind of an aside, but like, it happened obviously when Trump got elected. Like with politics, it's happening now with the coronavirus stuff, I love how quickly everyone becomes an expert in stuff.
Right.
When it's like in this time of a national crisis and they read a few
Right.
articles and then it's like everyone's chiming in to be like, I know this, I know the fix to this. Like, I
Right.
know what you're supposed to do now. I know what everything means.
Right.
Like, I was right before this, my roommate and I were talking about like what kind of suds can kill like the fatty layer of the virus or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I think any of them. And then I was like, I don't fucking know. I read half an article about it. Like, why do I have to even?
Right.
You could
It
prove me
makes me
wrong
realize
so easily.
how little the fact of what we ever talk about matters. It's just about reassuring each other and being there for each other. Like, none of these facts matter because I haven't been right or wrong once. It hasn't mattered.
Mm-hmm.
It's just been like, what do you think? I mean, you're going to stay inside, right? Great. Then what are all your other opinions? It doesn't matter. Yeah. It's like, you don't have to know. You just got to stay the fuck inside. Yeah, it is funny though. Every time I do start doing that, I try to go like, well, what I read is, or what I heard is, so that it's like, I'm not trying to argue with anybody. I don't care who's right about this. I just want us to have the rightest information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you give me the rightest information, I will immediately throw mine out the window and use that, because that's what we should all be doing, is like trying to find the right answer that all keeps us healthy, happy, and safe, not I don't know.
Be the most correct.
I'm just so tired of being right. I've been right for so long, and I'm just trying to change my ways, you know?
Yeah, and which, honestly, we're right about that now. We're right about how to be right.
I know. That's what therapy does. It tells you who to look down on now that you're not that way anymore.
There's a good bit in Mark Maron's new special about he's like, there's probably really in your whole life 5 things that you really know to be true. And even those things, it's like, do I really know this? And it's like, yeah, that's exactly it. It feels like so much of life now is people saying they know stuff. It's like, what do you know? You don't know anything. You know what you read in an article on The Atlantic, but like,
I know.
What does that mean?
It's bananas. It's just so crazy. Remember when we all used to read the news and not report it?
Whoa, I love this take.
You know? Our last final segment is the big share. This is a big share that, you know, we're isolated right now, hopefully only physically and not mentally and emotionally. But if there's a time that you need to, it's important to share what's going on in your life with the people who you're close to. So, Dan, do you have anything for the big share?
No, nothing for me today.
Okay.
How about you?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Well,
so that was folks, the big share.
Welcome back to You're the Man Now Dog podcast. Thanks for listening. And shout out to the little pups and the big dogs and the boss hogs. Again, truly, truly thank you so much for listening and supporting. It is the reason that we are so safe and happy at our homes right now. It's really nice to be able to make this for you guys and no one else. And we appreciate you.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you. So check out our Instagram Live. Check out our Discord. Make some comments in here. Do it on Twitter, wherever you want. I'd say, look, folks, we're all living our lives. Our Twitter feed fucking sucks right now. No likes, no retweets. Everyone's on the Discord. It's humiliating.
Right.
If you're trying to check out a podcast, you see their tweets promoting their shows, you see 3 or 4 likes, you go, I'm not going to give these guys any money. So everybody, let's flood the feed with some attention here. And this is on us too. Maybe some consistency in our tweets.
Maybe if we ever had content to tweet. I don't know.
Some content to tweet.
Write us a review. Share us with your friends. Let's make our little club a little bit bigger.
That's right. Little club, big
city.
Is that it?
I think that's it. Thanks so much for listening, guys, and we'll see you later this week. I hope everyone's doing well. Stay sane, stay safe.
Stay sane, stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.